time of recording this video, May 24th, 2020, 3 a.m. GMT, members of Forsage earned already $18.2 million. This is only the beginning, and growth dynamics is constantly accelerating. Do you want to know the secret of our success? This is what exactly was told in interview to monhype.net. Interview from one of us, one of the 4 creators of the Forsage. It was written, but we will read it. Hi, please introduce yourself to your readers monhype.net and tell us who you are in the project and how you are connected with it. Hi there, I am one of the creators of the community. Yes, it is community, because Forsage has more signs of community than just a project. We recently introduced the concept of crowdfunding, where people help each other achieve any goals. This gives more value to the project than if it was all about only money. What promoted you to create a rather unusual project using smart contract? The desire to give people a really effective and safe tool where participants will not think about the risks, because their money at all stages is only in their own hands. This is facilitated by technology that has replaced the centralized approach to creating investment and matrix projects and has made an evolutionary leap in the online network industry. This is blockchain technology and the ability to execute smart contracts in this environment. The effectiveness of the project has already been proven by the results of many partners who in just a couple of weeks just show results in tens of thousands of dollars on their wallets. Why did you decide to create exactly 2 programs for 12 slots in your project? What is the main difference between these programs and other similar projects? When creating a marketing plan, we were faced with the choice of one of these 2 programs. We didn't want to part with any of them, so we decided to give people the maximum. And as it turned out, not for nothing. Each of the programs has its pros and cons. It is their combination, simultaneous activation, that creates a balance in which the disadvantages are leveled. Why did you decide to use Ethereum and not any other system, or even make a multi-currency system? Because this currency has the ability to place smart contract in its network. Yes, it is not the only one, but its popularity leaves no options, since Ethereum is the second most capitalized currency among all cryptocurrencies. Undoubtedly, of all the cryptocurrencies on which it is possible to create a smart contract, Ethereum looks the most stable in the long term. Can you give us basic information about the project? Have you reached the level you expected at launch? Besides you, how many other people work and support the project? To date, we have implemented no more than half of the plans that were defined before the launch of the smart contract. Despite this, we occupy the leading positions in many ratings. For example, we are number 1 of unique users joining per day of all smart contracts by Depredator version. And on an information resource at gasstation.info, we are now in the top 3 members of the network for spending transactions fees. In addition to us, a large numbers of participants work, as we set up the community for team-wide friendly work in the concept of UGC, User Generation Content. People like to be part of the community, and our crowdsourcing is built on positive emotions. What do you think? Which of the 2 programs is more profitable to develop? It is profitable to develop 2 programs at once. What do you think is the fastest way to develop an inexperienced beginner? First of all, you need to establish your competence. For example, I first sent almost everyone interested the book about how the entire cryptocurrency sphere works. It is suitable for both beginners and more experienced. Then everyone has their own strategy. What works for one person doesn't necessarily work for everyone else. When a person is motivated, they find ways. The main thing is that this person has a clear idea of how it works. How secure is your project? And how much are you protected from interruptions, from hackers, DDoSers, and similar figures? A week after the launch, we became victims of strong DDoS attacks. The site was working with severe interruptions for about a day. But Forsage is not just a site and server. Forsage is a smart contract. The site is just a tablet showing information for the contract, which is located in the blockchain network. And thanks to this, you can interact with the contract without visiting the site. The server still counts such events and outputs the information immediately to the accounts when syncing with the contract. And I'll reveal some cards from our deck. One of these days, we will launch a website using IPFS technology. IPFS, Interplanetary File System, is an open source hypermedia communications protocol that allows peer-to-peer nodes to store and distribute data in a single distributed file system. After launching such a resource, we will no longer have to have a server and worry about attacks. The operation of such a site is supported by the users themselves, and any attempt to attack will have a boomerang effect for the attacker. That is, in fact, he will perform an attack on himself. Also, the advantage will be the domain will have a separate decentralized DNS server that will store record of our domain in the Ethereum Blockchain. This means that no structure can block access to the Forsage platform. Tell us a little about your work with the project. If you don't admin the project, what do you do? Do you develop your own network of partners, or just check that your site working consistently? We are engaged in scaling Forsage in the international space. Also, we adhere to the strategy of daily small improvements, which was at the heart of the success of such a well-known company as Toyota Motors. We regularly upgrade the platform, demonstrating growth to participants, which is also projected on their personal results. In your opinion, how long can this project exist? And in general, can it happen that it will close and the influx of new participants will stop? Forsage is originally created as a long-term project. It shows itself as a long-term project, and there is no any reason why its development can stop. The only real threat what we can imagine is a power outage all over the planet. On Forsage website, except chat Telegram, I didn't find what ties with support. If something goes wrong, how can I contact project support? We and our support team read the chat ourselves, and everyone can find answer. In practice, there are no failures in the contract. Otherwise, it would have already appeared among 350,000 transactions. Are there any plans to develop Forsage in the near future? Will there be any interesting changes made in the near future? There are many plans, some of them I have already outlined in other answers. To learn about all of our plans and experience the impact of the implementation, we invite you to our community. By midsummer, we plan to become the first ever decentralized interplanetary matrix in the world. Join us and become a part of the most progressive community.